Okay. So today we've got verses 43, 44, 45, and 46 lined up. I'll start with verse number 43. पितासि लोकस्य चराचरस्य त्वमस्य पूजस्य गुरुर्गरीयान् न त्वत्समास्ति अभ्यधिककुतो अन्यो लोकत्रय अपि प्रतिम प्रभावः. So the verse translates to that you are the father of this world and of the moving and the non-moving. You are to be worshipped, greater than the greatest. There is no one equal to you. How then can anyone be superior to you in these three worlds, O being of unequaled power? So this is what the verse translates to. Now let's take this up word by word. Pitasi. So Pita, that is the union of Pita, Asi. Pita is father, Asi is you are. Lokasya, Lok is world, so Lokasya becomes of world. Chara Charasya. Char is moving, Achar is non-moving. So Chara Charasya becomes of the moving and the non-moving. Tvam, you, Asya of this, Pujya is worshipable or to be worshipped. Cha and Gurur Gariyan. So Guru is someone who is great. Guru Gariyan becomes greater than the greatest. Na, not Twat Samaha. Tvam is you, Samaha is equal. So Twat Samaha becomes equal to you. Asti is Abhyadik is superior to you. Whence another Lokatreya. So Lok is world, Treya is triple. So Loktreya means in the triple worlds. Api even Apratim Prabhavaha is someone is incomparable. So the verse translates to you are the father of this world, of the moving and the non-moving. You are to be worshipped, greater than the greatest. There is no one equal to you. How then can anyone be superior to you in the three worlds, O being of unequaled power? So let's chant it together. Pitasi lokasya characharasya त्वमस्य पूजस्य च गुरुर्गरीयान् न त्वत्समासि अभ्यधिकुतो अन्यो लोकत्रयेऽपि अप्रतिम प्रभावः. So Arjun is continuing with his praise of the Lord. And when he says that you're the father of this universe, of the world, he means that the Lord is the source of the world and of course the entire universe. And Arjun goes on to address him as the father of the universe and whatever is produced. So achar, moving and non-moving. So whatever we see around us, the living beings, the non-living beings, all the elements, everything is produced from that Brahman. So he is the father. So the God is the father of the dynamic, the moving, as well as the inert or the non-moving, and therefore is the source of everything around us. Then Arjun also goes on to say the last word, Gurur Gariyan, that you are the greater than the greatest Guru. That is what he is saying. So Arjun is glorifying Lord Krishna as the greatest Guru. Now, Guru, we all are familiar with the term. It actually, the correct meaning of Guru is someone who dispels ignorance or darkness in us. So Guru is a union of Gu plus Ru. Gu is darkness, and Ru is something that dispels that darkness. Now, in the contemporary use, Guru also refers to an expert on something, something worldly. But in the traditional context, Guru refers to one who has attained self mastery, is in complete control of the ego, established in the reality, and therefore can lead us to on that path and take us towards dispel the darkness in us. So, as the greatest guru of all, Krishna leads us to the ultimate goal of human existence, a goal that surpasses all other goals of mankind. And what is this goal? Anyone? What is our ultimate goal?
To merge with self, to realize the self.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, Lord Krishna is the greatest guru. Now, what is implied here is also the characteristics of an ideal parent. See, he starts with Arjun starts the verse by Pita. See, so as a parent, these meanings are implied, and therefore we must. I mean, I'll discuss them slightly. So, a parent provides a physical and emotional support for their offspring. Now, apart from that, these are the physical and the mental needs. The correct values also, or what we call sanskar, should also be provided to the children. And to that extent, the parents are the gurus, the first gurus or the teachers of their offspring. It's only what they learn, the sanskar that are passed on at home when the child is very, very young. I mean, even if you're sending a child to the daycare or any other institution, it is after some time. So the first set of values are actually given by the family, and then they are passed in the institution wherever the child joins. So, to that extent, the gurus are the basic teachers. And similarly, Brahman is the ideal parent because he is the substratum, he is the support of this entire universe. And it is the supreme reality on which this entire experiences, the universe, the world, the beings, the whatever is moving and non-moving, it rests. So, to that extent, Brahman is the ideal parent because he gives us the support that we need at all times. And not only one person, the entire creation. And also shows us the way to reach and merge with that Brahman. Now, Arjun goes on to refer Lord Krishna as the Lord of the three worlds. And he says that you are superior. I mean, there is no one who is at par with you, who is your peer. So, how can anyone be superior to you in the three worlds? So, there is no one at the same level as you. You are beyond everything. And the comparison is in the three worlds. And traditionally, we assume the three worlds to mean heaven, the planets, where the human beings and there is life, and the netherworld where the sinners go. So these are three worlds that we associate with, but the three worlds can also be interpreted to mean our three states, the three states that we exist in, which are the waking, dreaming, and deep sleep states. So during the day, we exist in the waking state where our intellect or our faculty of logic, reasoning, everything is active. In the night, we start off in the dream state where the intellect is not active, but the mind takes over and new worlds are created where logic and reasoning is not really applicable. After that, we go into the state of deep sleep where neither the mind nor the intellect functions. So that can also be an interpretation of the three worlds that is referring to here. Now, a power that synchronizes and supports the entire creation, the complete microcosm and the macrocosm. It is a power which is beyond the universe, because it has to be beyond the universe to support the universe, right? And we get a glimpse of it when we are watching the seasons change, or we are watching the day turn into afternoon, and then evening fall, and then night. So these are just glimpses of that infinite power. And scientists, using their powerful telescopes and microscopes, are trying to investigate into the larger part of the creation and into the microcosmic part of the creation, but are nowhere really close to the fragments or to that power. So to that extent, this is incomparable power. So God's power is infinite, it is beyond measure. And that is what Arjun is addressing in this verse. Let's move on to verse number 44. Tasmat pranamaya pranidhaya kayam prasadaye tvam aham shishayedyam पितेव पुत्रस्य सखेव सखयुः प्रिय प्रियाया हर्षि देव सोडो. So Arjun continues to say, therefore, bowing down, prostrating my body before you, I ask you for your forgiveness, O adorable Lord. Please bear with me as a father bears with his son, a friend with a friend, as a lover with beloved. Let's take this up word by word. Tasmat is therefore, ending chain of thought. Pranamaya, having bowed down. Pranidhaya, having prostrated. Kayam, kaya is body. Kayam, so body. Prasadaye, I want your grace. I seek your grace. Twam, you. Aham, I. Ish, Isham is Lord. Idyam is that which is adorable. Pitaha is father. Eve like. Putrasya, of son. Sakha, friend, like. Eve is like. Sakhayu is of friend. Priya, lover. Priyaya is of beloved. Arhasi, you should. Dev, O God. Sodum is bear. So, therefore, bowing down, prostrating my body before you, I ask for your forgiveness, O adorable Lord. Please tolerate or bear with me as a father with his son, a friend with friend, as a lover with beloved. So let's chant it together. तस्मात् प्रणमय प्रणिधाय कायं प्रसादये त्वमहं शीशमेड्यं पितेव पुत्रस्य सखेव सखयुः प्रियप्रियायार्हसि देव सोढुम्. So Arjun, before this ultimate power, Arjun bows down and prostrates his physical body and before the adorable form of Lord Krishna. It's complete surrender. And Arjun asks for Lord's grace. He also asks the Lord to bear with him or to forgive his casual behavior, any imperfections or, transgressions towards the Lord that he might have committed in the previous, in his interaction with the Lord so far. Just as a father would do towards his son, a friend towards a friend, and a lover for the beloved. So basically, the underlying values are emotions that we are talking about are the affection, the service, the sacrifices, and the advice that, all these relationships bring out. So, using these as the relationships, Arjuna is asking for Lord's pardon for all his interactions with Lord Krishna earlier, which he had mentioned while we just recapped in verses 41 and 42 of this chapter, while playing, eating, joking, talking, lying, So, where Arjun may not have shown the respect that was due to the Lord because he was unaware of Lord's stature. Also, based on the level of intimacy, certain privileges are also permissible. So you see, for example, no bureaucrat can joke with the premier of a country. However, the premier's friends will joke and even scold the premier because they share a certain level. They were his batchmates. They were in the same institutions, so they share a certain level of intimacy. Same thing applies for his spouse or children. So the premier does not mind it. So with intimacy, certain privileges or omissions are allowed. So similarly, Arjun is saying that because of his intimate dealings with Lord Krishna, they were, out of his Arjun's love for the Lord and also for his devotion and treating him like a friend. So, see, now what has happened is that out of once the Arjun has seen the cosmic form of the Lord, Arjun is humbled. And out of this humility, he feels that somewhere or sometime in the past, he was not very careful of how he behaved with Krishna, whom he treated as a very, very dear friend. So maybe his behavior at times might have been over the top, so he needs to put things in perspective and seek pardon from the Lord. So in this dire situation, Arjun seeks pardon, quoting these three examples: father towards a son, friend for a friend, and a lover towards the beloved. So just like they forgive the other person, so father forgives the son, the friend forgives a friend, and a lover forgives this beloved. You please forgive my behavior towards you. And Arjun is seeking help at all these levels for his belittled personality after seeing the cosmic form. So that was verse number 44. Let's move on to verse number 45. Adrishtaपूर्वं हृषितोऽस्मि दृष्ट्वा भयेन च प्रव्यथितं मनो मे तदेव मे दर्शय देवरूपं प्रसीद देवेश जगन्निवासः. Arjun continues saying that having seen what was not seen before, I am delighted, yet my mind is distressed with fear. Show me, O God, that form only. Have mercy, O God of gods, O abode of the universe. So let's take this up word by word. Adrishtya Purvam. Purv is earlier, Adrisht not seen. So Adrisht Purvam becomes not seen before. Harshitaha. Harsh is delight. So Harshitaha becomes delighted. Asmi, am. I is implied. I am. Drishtva, having seen. Bhain. Bhay is fear. Bhain becomes with fear. Cha and pravyathit, distressed, trembling, agitated. Manaha, mind. May, mind. Tat, that. Ev, only. May, to me. Darshaya, darshan dena or show. So darshaya becomes show. Dev, O God. Rupam is form. Roop is form. Rupam becomes is form. Prasid, have mercy. Devesh, Devo ka Ish or God of gods. Jagan Nivas, Jagat ka Nivas or abode of the universe. So having seen what was not seen before, I am delighted, yet my mind is distressed with fear. Show me, O God, that form only. Have mercy, O God of gods, O abode of the universe. So let's chant it together. अदृष्ट्य पूर्वं हर्षितोऽस्मि दृष्ट्वा भयेन च प्रव्यथितं मनो मे तदेव मे दर्शय देवरूपम् प्रसीद देवेश जगन्निवासा. Now, the irony is that Arjun himself had asked for the vision of the Lord's cosmic form. You may recollect verses 3 and 4 of this chapter. So, that form which Arjun wanted to see, Arjun himself, and I mean, of course, the Lord obliges Arjun. In fact, he even provides Arjun with that divine sight so that Arjun can see the form. In spite of all that, Arjun now is finding that form difficult to behold. And he is saying that, having adrishtya purvam, what was not seen earlier. So, in the distant length of time in the past, or in the collective memory of that generation, no one had seen this rare and unique form of the Lord. And he is harshitosmi. That means he is delighted. He's happy. Arjun is happy that the Lord has given him the chance to see this unique form of the Lord. However, even though Arjun is delighted, he confesses that my mind is fearful and my intellect is satisfied. See, the intellect is satisfied because the intellect was asking to see that form of the Lord, which has, that divine form. The intellect is satisfied, but the mind is finding it difficult to behold that form. So, I demanded something from the Lord. Arjuna is saying that I demanded this. I have seen it. My intellect is convinced, but my mind is shaken. I'm fearful and my mind is trembling. So please show me that form of yours. Which form? That sweet, enchanting, divine, friendly form of yours that I am used to seeing. Or that individual form of yours as a person, individualistic form of yours. So hold back this macrocosmic form and come back to your individual form that I am used to seeing, that I'm familiar with. This form is, I'm afraid, I've become fearful. Now, the use of the word fear, bhain, we need to understand why is the fear arising in Arjun? And because that is exactly what happens to us. Now, fear is something that arises when we find a disparity between what is being feared and ourselves, the one who is fearing. So, we are fearful of God. Now, why are we fearful of God? Because we see God as separate and ourselves as separate. So, therefore, and we see God on a superior platform, we see ourselves on at a lower level. So, now our spiritual journey is essentially to reduce this disparity between what is feared and the person fearing, right? When we reach that state, the ultimate goal, which is the goal, enlightenment, or merging with that Brahman, the fear is gone completely because we've become one with that God. And if you will recollect, we've been reading the Bhagavad Gita now for over, I think, 2 years. Chapter 2 onwards, continuously this is what is being told to us, especially chapter 2, where we read Krishna's sermon, that he says that we are the same as that Brahman. We are the same. We have the same eternal essence. We have the same infinite knowledge, that infinite existence and bliss. So the question arises that why are we fearful? The fear, the cause of the fear is, as I said, when we see things as God is different and myself is different. So it is the result of the ego that comes in. So I am I and God is God, two different things. Ego creates this delusion that we are not that eternal essence. we start feeling a disparity between ourselves and God. Once we remove the ego, there is no scope of fear, because we merge with that internal, eternal essence. But the moment I start identifying with my body, my mind, my intellect, all the problems that are associated with the body, mind, and intellect start affecting us. So, what are the ailments of the body? Disease, old age, death, etc. And fear of death also is important, because what happens is that with death, we are losing the current existence that we are so strongly identified with. And then we become fearful as to what will happen to me, what will I be. And again, that ego, I, you see. So these are the causes of fear. So if we think about it, we will understand this. So this is what the fear arises out of. So disparity between God and us arises from our selfishness. So selfishness is the why the fear and insecurity arises in us. And egocentric desires, that entire karma yoga onwards, we have been reading how they drain our mental peace. They lead to mental agitation and disturb us. And two examples that I've been citing fairly frequently is the comparison between Raja Janak and Dhritarashtra. So Janak was a different kind of a king. He worked from dharma, and Dhritarashtra worked from ego and egocentric desires, love for his son. It is when we start functioning from the spirit of service and sacrifice and dharma, or the correct, right values, the right action. So when we work from that level, we start feeling secure. Now, Arjun himself was interestingly a man of service and sacrifice who worked for the welfare of his people. Yet he cannot behold this form of the Lord, because right now he's on the battlefield and he has lost his sense of objectivity, because on the battlefield you have to be either on this side or on the other side. So he is viewing the situation from a selfish and an egoistic angle. See, it's so similar to the situation that we face in the world in any interaction that we do. So for some time we feel oneness with the other side also, but very soon we come back to our own self, our position, or our ego, right? So Arjun's ego had momentarily vanished when he started seeing a cosmic form, and he, for some time, he was able to identify, but then identify with the cosmic form. Cosmic form is actually that ultimate reality which was on display by the Lord. But then Arjun's ego came back, and with it came back all the incorrect associations with the body and the mind. So his focus shifts from towards himself and towards his ego and egocentric desires. And of course, he's overwhelmed by the Lord's vast and magnificent cosmic form, which symbolizes self-realization. And Arjun is not at that level of spirituality to behold that cosmic form anymore. And therefore, he becomes terrified at the Lord's cosmic form, and he refers to him in his fear as the God of gods and abode of the universe. We will just move to the last verse for the day, verse number 46. Kiritinam gadinam chakra hastam echami tvam drashtumaham tatheva teneva rupena chaturbhujena sahasrabaho bhava vishwamurte. Arjun says, I wish to see you as before, crowned, bearing a mace with discus in hand, in that same four-armed form, O thousand-armed, O universal form. So let's take this up word by word. Kiritinam. Kiriti is crown. So Kiritinam becomes crowned. Gadinam, gada. Gadinam becomes wearing a gada or bearing a mace. Chakra hastam. Chakra is a discus and hast is a hand. So chakra hastam becomes with discus in hand. Ichhami is I wish. Twam, you. Drishtam, from drishti, to see. Aham, I. Tatha ev, as before. Tenev, that same. Rupen, form. Chatur bhujain. Chatur is four. Bhuja is arm. So chatur bhujain becomes four-armed. Sahastra bahu. Sahastra bahu. Sahasra is 1,000. Bahu is arms. So sahasra bahu becomes 1,000 armed. Now that is being used as an adjective to for Lord Krishna here, because Arjuna is seeing him in that macrocosmic form with 1,000 arms. And then Vishwamurti is universal form, something which is representing the universe. Vish ki murti. So universal form. So I wish to see you as before, crowned, bearing a mace, with discus in hand, in that same four-armed form, O 1,000-armed, O universal form. So let's take this up word by word. Kiritinam gadinam chakrahastam echami tvam drishtumaham tatheva तेनेव रूपेण चतुर्भुजेन सहस्रबाहो भव विश्वमूर्ते. So Arjun continues to plead and he requests the 1,000-armed form of Lord Krishna to resume his gentle nature. Arjun can no longer behold the cosmic form, as we have seen in the previous verses, and that form which is representing the state of self-realization, because Arjun lacks that spiritual strength to behold the cosmic form any more. His intellect is satisfied, but the mind cannot take it. What it means, this particular set of verses, what they are showing us is that in our spiritual journey, we can take in only as much as is our capacity. Okay. And okay, I will also say that not only in the spiritual capacity, actually at any level, we can take in only as much as is our capability. So for example, I may be a fit person, I may be, okay, fairly young, but if I were to go to Mount Everest, can I just go straight away? I mean, can I just walk up to the Mount Everest one fine day and be there? Is that possible? What do you say?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah,
Yes.
you need to prepare yourself for a long,
Exactly.
long time. Yeah.
Yes. So what am I doing? I am trying to build that capability in myself that can, take up that arduous journey, heights, a rarefied atmosphere, and so on and so forth. So I have to train myself. I will either hire a trainer or I'll do workout routines, even though I'm fit. It's not that I am completely incapable. I'm walking, I'm running marathons, but to go to the Mount Everest requires a different kind of capability. So we all have to build our capacity, and the knowledge that is given by the guru is taken by the student. Now here in this particular, in our scripture, the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna is the guru, the ultimate guru, and Arjuna is the student, the seeker. Now, what is happening here? One, there are two things actually, and I will take this up in detail today, that there are two components to any experience. So when we are talking of knowledge transfer, one is that the guru is giving the knowledge, and the second component of that is the recipient, the person who's taking the knowledge. And what is more important is the person who is taking the learning. The guru can be of whatever capability, but if the student is not receiving, there's no point. Therefore, we say that knowledge is never given, it is taken. The guru can give the knowledge to the extent the student can take it. And this principle applies at all levels: physical, we just talked about, mental and intellectual levels, right? So let's come back to this transaction. In any transaction or experience, we have two components: the subject and the object. So, for example, when I am talking and you are listening, and when you are speaking, I am listening. So, the person who's speaking and the person who's hearing. So, when I am hearing, I become the subject. So any experience or transaction is a contribution of both the subject and the object. Subject is my contribution to that transaction, right? So now I have to increase my contribution in the transaction and depend less on the object giving me the pleasure. So now let me bring this out with an example. I have, my legs are fine and we are interacting and there's this long discussion. So at some point of time, I say, okay, there's a chair close by, and I take the support of the chair. Now, if someone were to move the chair, what will happen? I'll not fall. I'll revert back to my own feet, right? So I've come back to my own strength. However, if I had a fracture and my foot was in a cast, and I have taken away my walking stick and I've taken the support of the chair, if someone moves the chair, I will fall down, or I need to get back to that crutch which I was holding. So why is that happening? Because my legs have gone weak. My strength is gone. So I need external support, right? And in today's day and age, what happens is that we need so much of support, so much of contribution from the world to keep us sane and satisfied, that it's weird. And why that is happening is because my contribution in that entire experience is very low. I mean, you find that the rich people are bored so easily. They don't know what to do with the time. So they go to the extent of substance abuse to get that kick out of life, to feel that they're enjoying life. And some other examples I'll bring forth. See, when you have market fluctuations, the bigger businesses who sit on more financial wealth are resilient to these market fluctuations, whereas a startup or a small business is very badly affected by the market changes. And that we saw during the COVID times, how the entire business scene changed. So many of the businesses went out and so many new businesses came up, depending upon the environment. Another example is, see, if I'm a multimillionaire and if I lose, let's say, $100 or 100 rupees or 1,000 rupees or even a lakh of rupees or maybe even a crore of rupees on the stock market, it doesn't bother me. I mean, okay, I will not waste my money. I will try to see what went wrong and so on and so forth, but I'll not get agitated. But if it is a poor person, if he were to lose 100 rupees or 1,000 rupees, he will be so agitated because it was a lot of support for that person. His material content is low, or his material wealth is low. So for him, 1,000 rupees will make a lot of difference. So now if we translate this to the spiritual content, we too must increase our spiritual content so that we are not dependent on other people or on the environment outside to give us that kind of support. We are happy by ourselves. And the inner strength, again, that we develop, it comes on two platforms to us. One is the egoistic, and the other is based on dharma, the right values. So typical examples are Ravana, who was very powerful, but his strength came from egocentric desires, and the base was ego. And of course, Lord Ram, where his strength came from the dharmic values, the correct action. So these are the two platforms on which the strength, our inner strength, is available to us. And Vedant, what we are reading, is part of the Vedant philosophy, teaches us to focus on the subject, that means ourselves, and not keep on, finding everything wrong with the world, and increase our contribution in our experiences, and make our content, our spiritual content, strong. And so we become self-reliant, and this should be based on dharma. And then we should function in the world. And this is what we have been reading so far in the Bhagavad Gita also. A weak person is always begging and asking for more and more, and is very, very demanding. So to strengthen ourselves, a retreat in the Himalayas is not what we need. It is a retreat within ourselves that we need. Now, this journey can only be taken through measured, step-by-step progress on the spiritual path, which keeps in mind our capacity, as we discussed in the case of the, when we want to climb the Mount Everest, we have to increase our capacity and taken as much of spiritual lessons or readings or literature as we can absorb. So that if my capacity, for example, is 1 hour per week, it's okay. Let me not try to make it, some 20 hours per week and retain less than half an hour per week. It is fine. Let me go with that capacity, try to increase that capacity gradually. So now, because Arjun did not have that capacity, you see, this is that example. What has happened is he asked for the form, but he did not have the capacity to behold that form, to absorb it, take it in. So he is retracing his steps. He's saying, please take back that form. So that's exactly what's happening to Arjun, and that is what will happen to us also, that we will start retracing our steps we will not be able to go ahead on the journey. So Arjun is asking for the Lord's cosmic form to be withdrawn. And he is asking for the Lord's gentle form. So he is asking for that four-armed form of the Vishnu, which is crowned, holding a mace and discuss. And he's asking the Lord to reduce the 1,000 hands. Now, for those of you who are logically inclined, or who like to analyze the literature, he's talking about 4 arms. It's not that Lord Krishna had 4 arms. 4 arms, possibly before the cosmic vision was shown by the Lord, he might have appeared in the form of the Vishnu, the 4-armed Vishnu. So that is it. And Arjun goes on to say that, I know that you're the universal form. Please come down to the microcosmic form, the individual form that I'm used to. Be my personal God. I mean, so you are, for me, my friend, my God. Just return to your original status. So with that, we will close today's session.